Hey, ladies, can you believe we are in 2025? Unbelievable. I can't believe it. I'm sitting here like, I remember at one point in time in my life where I thought, when I was a young girl, watching the Jetsons, that we were going to be floating around in our vehicles in the air. The closest thing we got is the Cybertruck and the Tesla car. But nevertheless, I just can't believe it. But here we are, and I want to discuss stepping into 2025 with confidence and grace. I just want to sit back and reflect on where we are now and where we're going. I think this is going to be a really good stepping stone for us to move into 2025, with confidence and grace. Sometimes we could be so hard on ourselves and we can kind of be in a dump and, there's so many things that we have to handle in life, you know, if it's dealing with family, if it's dealing with friends, if it's dealing with work. We have so much on our plate, and family can be however, friends can be however, and work can be however. And then you also have to think about time for yourself, you know. But I just want to sit back and reflect on how we can go into this new year with confidence and grace. So I just want to talk about reflection, reflecting back on 2024. I can sit here and I can just like look up and I'll be like, wow, the year was a year, but there were some good parts, there were some bad parts, there were some challenging parts. But at the end of the day, it was definitely worth it. I felt like 2024 was like that pot, where you just put everything in. Say you're making a good soup or a good broth, or you just making some good gravy, and you throwing in all the things that you need to simmer in the bottom of this pot to get that good. If you're making a roux, like I said, you're making a broth, if you're making a stock, or whatever you're doing, and you're putting everything in this pot so you can actually now make the soup. Or you made the soup, now it's time to serve it in 2025. Does that make any sense? Like, I feel like that's what I was doing in 2024. Like, pretty much making this stew, making everything, putting everything in place. And now I'm ready to serve what I have. And I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about communication, uncommunicated expectations from, individuals that may have assumed things from me and vice versa. And I've learned so much and I'm appreciative of where I am now. And I'm so not the same person from, shoot, let alone yesterday. You're talking about 5 years or 4 years, 2 years. I'm totally different. I'm sure you are as well, because if we don't change and we don't grow, then what are we doing here? We just can't be here just living. But we're not going to move into that type of topic. We're just going to, sit back and we're going to reflect. I want you to sit back and look at the things that you did achieve and what you did learn. Pretty much for me, I'm giving you some examples, is, I've learned that you can't expect something from someone and assume that it's common sense if you never had the conversation. So again, I'm going back to uncommunicated expectations. You can't do that. Also, we're all different. We're all different. And that's okay. Another one is, I'm enough. I am enough on any aspect, however you want to, wherever you want to fit that in, if it's at work, if it's with family, if it's with friends, whatever you're trying to do, you are enough. And that's what I had to realize, we all move in different vibrations and whatnot. So I had to sit back and say, Kelly, you are enough. So I've definitely learned. And I've achieved so much, not only did I achieve, in my personal life within self growth, self love, you know, I said self-worth. I don't want to get too much, but I've learned that for myself. And it's okay to sit back and be at a big age. And like, I'm going to be 49 this year. And not that I didn't know my self-worth before, I will sit and say, and that's just being transparent, I didn't appreciate my self-worth, so I had to, I'm here now and I'm I'm okay. I understand my self-worth and I understand this is Big Kelly, okay? This is Big Kelly. But yeah, sit back and do reflections on what did you achieve, what did you learn, and also the challenges that help you grow. What helped me grow was having hard conversations. I used to be an individual where if I had a conversation with someone, right? And there's nothing wrong with this at all, nothing wrong with this. But what I've learned is when you sit back and let a person talk, you also get to hear them. And now you're sitting back, you're absorbing it all, and you're able to respond, or you sit back and just able to let it marinate and understand that person's perspective, but yet you also understand your perspective. I've understood now that everything doesn't deserve a reaction. You know, where I used to have conversations with individuals and I would speak up for myself. And it will always turn into I was being defensive. In some cases, I might have been. In some cases, I wasn't defensive. I was genuinely speaking up for myself. But I have to always understand where the person I'm speaking with, where their angle is coming from. So I've learned a lot from that, not just about other people, but about myself as well. So a lot of self-reflection. So that's definitely good. And that lets me move in grace and move in confidence that, I don't have to react on something. Now, if a person trying to provoke you, because they may have known how you were in the past, they got nothing to do with you. That's all about them. Okay? So when a person, and then if a person tells you, you know, they got a problem with you, they ain't got nothing to do with you. That's them. That's extra right there. But no, some challenges that helped me grow was definitely, self-reflection. Just to kind of piggyback on what I said, understanding that, one thing about me that I had to learn was to listen and hear anyone out, family, friends, co-workers, listen, and that's definitely helped me in 2024. And I definitely want to bring that into 2025 and moving forward. That's something I feel like is a um, concrete, piece. And I also want to, let go of regrets and focusing on gratitude. Sometimes regrets can have you in a deep hole and you don't have to be there. You we can sit back and not regret things that we may have done, but just learn from those things. And don't even call them mistakes because you can always learn from them things. Just learn from lessons. We call those lessons, not mistakes and not regrets. Lessons. So next, I want to talk about defining your vision in 2025. How does that actually look? I know for me, I'm looking at, how do I want to feel in 2025? I mean, I know I can't control what happens. I can only control my, inner surroundings right here, but I can't control what happens at work. I can't control what happens out in the environment. I can only control what happens in my house. And then sometimes things from the outside can kind of pour in, but I just want to sit back and create like a mantra for myself, or even if it's a word or just some things to keep me grounded. And for me, mine is focus. So for yourself, sit back and think, what can your mantra be? What can that word be? So say if something happens, right? You're out and about and you might be being provoked or something good is happening, something good or bad is happening. What can you say to yourself to keep you grounded? I know for me, focus, Kelly. Focus, focus, focus. That's mine. Focus. You can have something like growth and grace, or never give up, something that will connect with you to make you feel like, okay, I'm grounded. And mine is focus. So if any of you that do know me and y'all hear me say the word focus, y'all know I'm pulling it back. I'm pulling it back. I'm getting it back in. Because not only do I want to focus on myself, I want to focus on you. I want to focus, like I said, on me. I want to focus on my family. I want to focus on my friends. I want to focus on my job, my career, because these things keep me going. They keep me going. Everything just looks different as you get older. Sometimes we feel guilty for how our life may have looked in our 20s versus how it looks in your late 40s and your 50s. It's going to look different. It's going to look different. And yeah, focus. Focus. See, I had to bring it back in and focus. I'm about to go left. Say my word focus, and here we are. We're back. We're back. So, define your vision and, sit back and kind of write down some goals or just some things that you want to achieve on a personal level or something on a professional level. Like I said, I know for me, I have some personal things I want to focus on. And I mentioned to you before, one is my health. Me gaining 15 pounds is a doozy for me because I'm only 5'2". I'm short. And I can't hold, or I could just feel it. I can't hold all the weight. And then clothes, and then other things start happening to you. Other health issues start happening to you. And, I just can't be in the business and the arena of having the other health issues. So if it's about me just sitting back and losing the 15 pounds and maintaining a healthy life. Because as you get older, you see, and I'm calling a spade a spade. When you're young and you a certain way, everything just holds up differently. And as you get older, your metabolism's not as strong as it used to be or fast, as you say. We're not out here walking and hustling. Me coming from New York, catching the bus, catching the train. That was my 20s. I moved to North Carolina when I was in my 30s. 30, I'm my 31st birthday to be exact. So it's different. And we moving here. I don't walk a darn place here in North Carolina. I drive to the front, to the next front. Okay. Everything is pull up central around here. So I just don't I gotta get together. That's just being full transparency. People can sit back and look amazing on the outside and have everything all pulled together, but the inside is just rotting away. So I don't want to be that individual to where I'm looking so good on the outside, but then the inside is looking like a nasty old molded, raisin prune. I don't want that. I don't want that. So we have to work. We definitely have to work. And I was sitting back thinking. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. If I was to vlog every now and then, but I made a pact with myself that I would not vlog, and I would focus on my podcast, because when you got so much going on in life, and I'm just this is an extra moment right here. You can't focus. You cannot focus. Let me tell you something. Doing YouTube, trying to be on everybody's social media platform, holding down your job, trying to have a personal life, or a life in general. It's a lot. It is a lot. So I had to sit back and say, Kelly, how can things be simple for you and you still do what you love? I really thoroughly enjoy content creation. I think I mention that all the time. I enjoy content creation, but I also enjoy the podcasting. I enjoy having these type of conversations because not only am I pouring in you, I'm pouring into myself indirectly. Let me tell you something. I'm talking to Kelly when I tell you this. So this is definitely therapeutic for me. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you, because some of you have definitely reached out to me and just said, I'm inspiring, I'm being very motivational, and just making you think out the box. And now I'm getting all full. Let me bring it back. It really makes me feel good because sometimes I wish I would have had these conversations with myself, and I wouldn't have to have these conversations now. But on the flip side, it's okay, because it's always better late than never, if that makes any sense. So, cultivating confidence. Let's scoot into that. Confident, Kelly, get it together. Cultivate confidence. I feel like what really helped me, I've always had some good confidence about myself, but yes, I can definitely downplay myself a lot, and I'm at a point now where I don't do that anymore. I don't downplay myself for the next person. Sometimes, say for instance, if you walking into a room and you walking into a room and you can kind of be like, ooh, not that you're doing anything different, you just got a good vibrant about you. You know, Me and my girlfriend, we were talking about a woman that we both follow on social media. And she happened to meet her. And she said when met her, she met her personality before she even met her first. And that's big when you are an individual with your personality. And I don't mean a bad, cocky person, a good, sweet, warm, welcoming personality. A person you wouldn't mind having a conversation with, a person might even breaking bread with, having a good meal with, having a cocktail with, something like that. And that's what I got. And I got that. I haven't even met this individual, but just from watching her videos and seeing her, that's exactly what I got. Prime example, I'm going to give, for those of you, you guys know that me and Morkita are friends. And she gives off a very warm, welcoming girlfriend type of vibe in her videos, in her socials. That's how she is in real life. Even more warming in real life. Like, it's really nice. I mean, when you could actually meet people that you don't know, like people, I'm talking about people like some of your girlfriends that you may have grown up with. That's different, because you've grown, people you just don't know, and people you may have met through channels like this, like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that. People you just don't know, you just don't know them. And when it's you meet people like that, well, let's go back. I'm getting out of hand here. Say for instance, you're walking into a room, right? I don't downplay myself anymore. And what I was trying to get into is how my friend was telling me how she met someone and the lady was just being herself. And she knows she has a big personality. That's just who she is. And she's not trying to overshadow anybody. She just has a welcoming, personality. And I felt like for me, I would downplay myself a lot. I would, be more on the reserve side. But if you know me, I can have a good time and stuff like that and be fun. But I will always downplay myself when I walked into a room. I don't do that anymore. I do not do that anymore. If I walk into a room and I'm giving my energy, I'm giving my energy. I didn't even realize how much energy we all have it. Let me put that out there. We all have this energy because it's who we are. I went to I said I wasn't going to hang out, but I went to a New Year's. At this point, it was New Year's. After the board up, I did wind up going out to one of my girlfriends. She had a little get together. And I was feeling my outfit. Okay. I was feeling my outfit. My confidence level was just through the roof. I didn't know if anybody was looking at me because I was too busy just like walking and looking for my friend because she was giving this function. And when I actually found, she was like, "Hey girl, how you doing? Thanks for coming. You came out the house after 12 o'clock. Thank you, thank you, thank you." And that's one thing I also said I was going to do. I was going to stop being such a big homebody. So that was like my first thing getting out the house on New Year's. And I said, I'm not going to be a homebody. I'm going to get out and I'm going to do more. So how can we sit back and cultivate this confidence? Again, like I mentioned, the aura, that was extra, but focus on your self-care, physical, emotional, and spiritual. Practice positive self-talk. Again, I know we're going to have our word. My word is focus, but you can also have like affirmations that you can say to yourself to make you feel good. Is nothing wrong with that. I think that is something that we kind of downplay a lot, you know, as individuals. I'm not going to say just as women, because men can do affirmations as well. But pretty much, remind yourself of your wins. Remind yourself of who you are. Back to me saying, not downplaying myself going into rooms, or downplaying myself, or, just kind of minimizing myself. No, it's okay to be, that chick, have that confidence walking into the room. It's okay. Cockiness and confidence is two different things, in my opinion. I feel like, confidence can be inspiring, it can be motivating, it can, you know, rub off on the next person, and then they can be like, hey, you know what? I want to look like that. I want to feel like that. And they see you pouring into yourself, they pour into themselves. You'd be so surprised, so surprised, But getting back, and to surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. Don't surround yourself with people who always want to remind you of negative things. Don't do it, because you're never going to get out of that space. Sometimes as we get older, you meet new people in life. As to think about, you meet people in your co-working space, you meet people just going to the restaurant sometimes, or going to the mall. You can meet people. I've met so many women in Sephora, and we may have not exchanged numbers, but guess what? We exchanged social medias, and the next thing you know, we're conversating, we liking, and then we're asking questions in the DM. And before you know, it's like, hey girl, let's go out. I've met many women where I've known someone, and they had a little get together at their house, and I've came, and then I met someone, and prime example, I got me a whole new gym friend, but me and her been friends before. She's a gym junkie. To me, she is. She won't say it to herself, but I'm gonna start working out with her. Then I have another friend that I've met through a group of women that I've met. You networking and surrounding yourself around like-minded women is very motivating, very inspiring, very uplifting, and it can put you in rooms you never thought you would be in. And you surround yourself with women who are doing things that you want to do or you're interested in, because it could just put you in places that you never thought you would be in. That's in my opinion. You know, you know, you know. So the next thing I want to talk about is embrace your grace through your change. Give yourself that grace. Don't be so hard on yourself. I have something that I have written down here where I want to just let you know that the importance of flexibility and patience as life evolves. Sometimes we feel like, okay, if I'm doing this and I'm trying to move in grace and confidence, it has to happen within 2 weeks. If I'm going to get me a notebook and I'm going to write down all these different things, no. Everybody's transition or movement within themselves or change, it may not happen right away. It may happen in 6 months. It may happen in a year. For me, 2 years, 2 years. And I'm still growing. I'm still growing. I'm not going to put a timeline on when my flower is being bloomed. Because, a flower can bloom and then die. We don't want that. We got to find things that once our flower do bloom, how are we going to keep feeding it? Think about when you get some flowers. It comes with a little packet, like that little food, that little plant food, or the flower food, and you put in. And if you have a plant at home, I have plenty of plants. You got to figure out how to keep it alive. Look at yourself as a plant. If you could sit back and care for them plants in your house. Now, these plants that I do have around me, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, They are artificial. But the plants that I do have downstairs in my home, they are real. So you sit back and think, if I could sit back and put all that energy in my plants, water them once a week, change their soil maybe every 6 months to a year, depending on what type of plant they are. Give them some plant food, putting it in the water and pouring it in there, clipping the leaves, removing the dead leaves, doing all these things to keep them alive. I've had plants in my home that when I was a little girl, do you hear me? A little girl. Because my mom really, really took care of these plants. That's the same way we got to take care of ourselves. I'm a firm believer. I always say this. If we can give these jobs our all, we can give ourselves our all as well. In addition to these plants, I sit back and look at how I care for these plants and how I do everything and make sure that I open my blinds every morning. I close them and water them. And if I don't get a chance to water them, I ask my daughter to water them. It's like the same way how you take care of your pets. The same way you take care of your children. I don't want to, put everybody in the same boat because, plants, dogs, and children. But it's still a form of life. And guess what that is? Guess what you are? A form of life. You have to pour into yourself. So I hope I gave a good analogy of that and understanding you have to have patience with yourself as your life evolves, because it will evolve and you will lose some leaves and you will grow some leaves. And you might have a moment where you grow a flower. And you got to learn how to understand where that flower was for that moment. And then your flower may die. And then you may have a different type of flower. You know what I mean? So I hope you get my analogy. I hope you don't feel I'm dumbing us down as women or as individuals, but I just wanted to let you know that's how I look at things now. Be patient with yourself and don't be so hard on yourself. And things happen. Life happens, and also embrace your imperfections. Celebrate small victories. I didn't know how to, and you would think, okay, my actual platform where I have my podcast on, you have to connect so many different things so you can get like your analytics and see what's going on. And I was looking at views on Spotify versus views on Apple Podcasts and other platforms like Amazon and Google and things like that. And I kind of got a little down because one of the platforms was lower. And I have to understand, you can't get upset because all platforms can't be high. At the end of the day, if they were all equal, say you had, just giving you an analogy, 10 listeners, 10 listeners, 10 listeners. If I got 20 listeners and 5, I'm okay. So I had to be easy on myself and understand, hey, I got a victory. I have the listeners. And whatever I'm saying is hitting someone, because guess what? They're tuning back in and they're looking forward to what I have to say and what we're going through together as a group of women. Yes. So I want to share an empowering affirmation that you can use, my gift to you. And it's, I move through life with ease and purpose. Don't be hard on yourself. Be easy on yourself. Understand you are that flower and you have to nurture yourself. Okay? And the same way how you pour into everyone else, pour into yourself. Because you would hate to leave this earth and knowing that you did not pour into yourself as you should. Okay? You come first. And saying all of that, I want to recap. We focus on reflection, intention setting, building confidence, and embracing grace. Our goal for 2025 is to put ourselves first. Pour into your cup. Have your cup running over. I know it may be easier for some than others, but always remember, if your cup is not full, you can't help nobody else. And if your cup is not full and running over, you sure enough can help somebody else. But I just want to talk about, having confidence and moving forward and just treating yourself good and being patient with yourself. And as we move forward in 2025, we're going to have the best year. Okay, every year is going to get better and better and better. So we can sit back and reflect to see how much we poured into ourselves to have that confidence and grace so we can have the best year. Yeah. I'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you, ladies, and I truly appreciate you.